really it's about one's inner work so that the outer world can give you what you're seeking. Getting that ease of transition between you, your desires, your alignment inside of yourself to create the ease of transition of the world, naturally magnetizing the world to give you what you're looking for. That creates wealth. That creates community. It creates the network you need to create the baseline you're looking for in your financial future.
Love it, love it, love it.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter.
Well, hello and welcome to Conversations Behind the Mic. I'm Raven Blair Glover, Raven, a talk show maven, and I am super duper excited today because OMG, I have one of our amazing women and men of power, our profitable podcaster agency, our Power Me Up Radio, Raven International TV. She is everywhere. This lady is everywhere, and I'm so proud of what we're going to be talking about. Shh, don't tell nobody. Well, wait a minute. Let's tell everybody. Yes, just bring the world in because they're going to want to hear this. I'm talking about Christina L. Suter. She has been a real estate investor for over 35 years and a real estate investment advisor. She has worked with 100 plus clients over thousands of hours in 15 years and has advised on over $100 million of equity. OMG. Yes. The world is going wild about this lady for sure. Christina has found the greatest obstacle in her clients' face was an overwhelming amount of information. You ever feel that way? Yeah, an overwhelming amount of information about investing that didn't produce the results they needed. And her work is about creating the inner transformation that her clients need to become the financial leaders they wish and deserve to be in creating the financial freedom that they dream of. So today we're going to be talking about all the amazing things Christina Suter has done and is doing, like being nominated to Who's Who. Yeah. Yes. Standing ovation all over. You're not kidding. This is so amazing. We just cannot stop applauding her because I have seen this lady from the start work and be so caring, so lovely, so on point with who she is meant to help. And she has found them and she has worked with them. They loved her. She's going to be in Who's Who. She's already in Who's Who. And she's also going to share with you about her opening something really exciting. It's an investment multifamily office. So again, if you stand and sit down, if you sit and stand up, because Christina Suter is here. Hey, Christina, I hope I don't cry in this interview.
I might cry. I might cry for both of us, Raven. Because you were there at the very, very beginning. That's why I'm just so honored to be interviewed by you. Is because you started all this. It's your fault. I'm blaming you for it.
I remember when I called you and you said, yes, my voice, I want to be heard. And wow, you're on podcasts, you're on radio, you're on TV, you're out there speaking it, you're rocking it on LinkedIn and the social media platforms. And you're being asked over and over again to come speak to these groups because you really, I've always told you, it's not about what you hear, it's about what you feel when you're listening and you can't see anybody. And you started on podcasts, right? And radio. And you know how important it is that we feel the passion of the one that's speaking, and you feel like they're talking to you, even though everybody else is hearing them. You feel like they're talking to you and your message is hitting home. And wow, have you done it, my friend? How does it feel? Who's Who? You're going to be in Who's Who?
I know. Who's Who? I am crying. I'm just saying I am crying because I didn't think I feel so honored that they found me, that they're like, hey, lady, you're doing something really cool. Let's talk to you. And I'm like, me? Why me? But it the more that they asked me and interviewed me about what I'm doing and the commitment I have to other people's transformation in their world, in their mind, in their universe, and how they can be financially free using real estate as the vehicle. They went ahead. I was nominated and accepted. So I guess I said some things that were right, which
It's
is super cool.
absolutely super cool. That's no
And
small
yeah,
thing, my friend. That is no small thing at all. And, here's
well,
an example of when you think nobody's watching. And, as
yeah,
hosts, you and I both have felt, is anybody even listening? Right? Because
yes,
people don't
people got
always
that
write
feeling.
in. So you don't know. People hardly ever
Yeah.
write in. But
Oh,
then I remember thinking
yeah.
one time, I think one of our hosts had asked me about that. Is anybody really listening? I'm like, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way at CNN and CBS. And you know how big they are.
Right.
But, and then I
Yep.
started saying, wait a minute, I never wrote into Oprah and I listened to her year after year after year. People write in when they're ready to talk to you. And when you got that who's who, I would imagine it was probably the same as when I got the presidential one. When you get that email, it's like, you're like, okay, this is a joke. What? Is that how you
Yes.
felt?
Yes. Yes, it is how I felt. And I wanted to say that about, like, you kind of understand, you have empathy for it because you got the presidential one. Like, that came out of the blue, just recognizing the good work that
Mm-hmm.
you've done. And I've been your student and a client of Raven Media for, oh my God,
Since
how many years is it now?
2011, she was one of the
Since
first
2011.
of five that we brought in. So since 2011, it's been a long time.
And it's been a long time. And I mean, I was in this little tiny windowless office consulting with people on small business. And I remember, and I randomly picked up my phone, which I don't normally pick up numbers I don't know. And there you are on the other end. And I think what's profound about this, and why I always tell this story over and over again, almost every time, was you started talking. I'm like, oh man, it's a sales lady. But you started saying words that I knew were more meaningful and more powerful. I could feel it in the words themselves that they were for
Hmm.
me. That you said, Christina, you can use the power of your voice. And I'm a little LD kid. I'm a dyslexic kid, right? So I was literally thrown out of second grade because I was throwing
Oh
books at my
wow.
teacher. Okay, so like literally, and so I don't write. I don't like writing. I don't enjoy writing. I listen to books on audio. I had an assistant once who said, Christina, you're not allowed to answer emails without me proofreading them. So I don't write. So I've always felt
Yeah.
stuck because I'm the loser LD kid who had to go to special ed, who's been kicked out of schools. And by the time I was in eighth grade, I had been in almost as many schools as I had been in
Really.
grades.
Mm.
Right. But there you are saying, use the power of your voice. And I'm like, that's the one thing that
Hmm.
works right, is the
Hmm.
power of my voice. That's the one gift God gave me that works.
And you
And
worked it.
you opened up
Okay.
that door.
You worked it.
You-
It works and you worked it. I remember those times. And then and within a year and a half at the most, you were like, I can't take on any more clients. I just can't take on any. And I was
yeah,
like, what? I
that's right.
can't take on any
That's
more
right.
clients.
That's right. I could do clients. Yes, I could begin more clients. And I had started doing the real estate business in 2007. And so here I was trying to transition my model, and it
Yeah.
became possible with the podcast. My first podcast, remember, was
Yes.
about small
Yes.
business. And then later I opened up the podcast specifically on real estate after I felt I'd finished my transition. But it was God talking through you to
Oh,
me
now you're gonna make
saying,
me
hey
cry.
lady, wake up.
Really.
Wake up, use the
Mm-hmm.
power of your voice. Raven, we're a great believer of being
Mm-hmm.
vessels of God, of moving forward based on the purpose that a higher source has for us. For those people who don't like the word God, fine. Then let's call it just fulfilling your sense of higher purpose
Yeah.
on this planet. And you know it's right because of the inner joy and
And you
satisfaction that
feel it in
shows
your
up. And
gut.
you know that, Raven.
You feel it in your gut. It's just
Hmm.
something there that says, it's my time. I'm on the right path.
Yeah,
I always learn from my son Blair to listen to the voice inside you guide you. Whatever you want to call it, listen
yeah,
to that voice. That first inner voice, that first inner thought is usually it.
hmm
It's just that we usually
yeah,
ignore it because we might want this instead. So we're like, no, I want that. And instead he's telling you no, so it's really weird.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a friend of mine who always says, he's a guy. He's like, that guy inside of you, you have to satisfy. That guy who's always with you, like in your brain. it's like, yeah, that ego guy, right? Like he's the one who wants to run the show. He's the one who wants to be afraid. He's the one who wants to believe you need to be
Yeah.
different than who you are. He's the one who wants to call you a failure and say you have to pretend to be powerful when you can actually just be powerful by following the voice that guides you,
Following the
the voice
voice
inside you that
inside you
guides you.
guide you.
Let the voice inside you guide you, and then all of a sudden you are fulfilling a sense of purpose on this planet. And then who's who calls and says, "Hey, lady, we've noticed you," and I'm like, "Wow, okay, thanks." And you had that with the
Yeah.
presidential reward. "Hey, lady, we've noticed you. You're creating good
It
on this
makes you feel
planet."
really good,
What?
though, doesn't it? To
Yeah,
know that,
yeah,
because,
it does.
and I'm sure all of the listeners and viewers, you guys get it. I know, because we're working in the trenches and we're working and working and working. We're trying this, we're trying that. We go out there on these social medias, and sometimes nobody shows up. Sometimes two people show up, and you're like, what am I doing this for? So when you get that pat on the back, more than a pat on the back, or I acknowledge, that's what it is. It's a acknowledgement that, wow, you're doing some amazing things. Think of all the people that they could have sent it to, and you were one of them.
Yeah.
So if any of you are getting this, you're hearing it from Christina and I, that yes, you will feel like, is this a joke? Why me?
Yeah,
But
it's a joke.
give
Yeah.
yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a hug, because I'm sure you were like me. It was like it wasn't until the day that I got the presidential pin and certificate that I believed it. I didn't even want to tell nobody until after it happens, because you're like, I don't want to be embarrassed if this is a joke.
I've only told you and
But
my
now the
media
world
team.
knows. Yay!
Okay, hold on a second, Betty. Here, let me show you.
Oh
Right,
my
that's my
god!
version. That's
Oh
my
my
version right
God.
there.
Wall Street Journal, Who's
Woo-hoo!
Who, Christina Suter.
Give me
Oh my
two.
goodness. You got to send me a
Oh my
picture of that.
God.
I'm going to put this on my wall, because you're one of my students, one of my first ones.
I am.
You
I
were
am one of
the
your students. I am one of the original students that when you
talk
broke
to
out on your
cash.
own to follow your voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you. It's not about me, it's
And
about you. So share with your listeners before we start about your multifamily. I can't wait to hear about that. What are some strong
okay.
tips that you can give them that will help them in their mindset, that will help them when things, start happening around? And we won't go into this, but you've had a lot of personal, a lot of stuff going on. How does one
Yeah.
push through that
Yeah.
and keep saying, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Well, you have to have that going for it attitude, no matter what, as Lisa Nichols would say. Share your thoughts on that to kind of help the others out. And then I would like to transition from that into giving them something that they can take away relating to what you do that can help
Okay. Sure. So I've been a real estate investor for 35 years, as you know, and then I started consulting as a real estate investment advisor, um, specifically in 2007, which was right during the
them.
downturn. So that's been 13 years ago now? I don't know, 15 years ago
Mm-hmm.
now. And what I've discovered along the way was that one's inner transformation is the greatest sense of abundance one can have.
Mm-hmm.
People always want to use real estate. They want to use money. It's money. I want money. I'm like, no, you don't. I understand that's what you think you want. That's what the vision in your head, that's what the numbers are saying in your head. It's all
Yeah.
about money, but it's not. Vision in your head is actually about
Mm.
peace and having the time and the freedom to do what you want to do. Real estate is just the vehicle to get there. So my multifamily office is about having a small number of select families that believe as I believe. Their real estate investment portfolio is specifically to help them to fulfill their purpose on this planet. The money's not about the money. It's about what you can do to create abundance and freedom for yourself, for your family members. Okay, it's a multifamily office for yourself, for your family members, and create the change that you personally believe is possible on this planet and is valuable. Those are the families that are going to be them drawing into my
That's
multifamily
gonna
office.
be awesome.
And
Wow.
I think it's going to be awesome because it's like, well, after 25, 35 years of investing and 15 years of advising, I truly feel like this is the next step in being able to make a difference, not just for my clients, because I have been a real estate consultant, right, for years, but being able to work ongoingly with creating the bigger dreams that my clients have had, that we've worked on the beginning of, now working with them over years, being able to invest for them, being able to allow them to be the actor they want to be the activist they want to be the doctor they want to be, and creating a financial background behind them so that they're free to fulfill their purpose. That to me feels like my next step. At least that's what the voice inside of me is saying is my next step. So I'm excited
Wow,
about that.
that sounds amazing. Isn't
Yeah.
it inspiring? I don't know. It's like you feel like almost a new birth when that new idea comes to you, and
Yeah.
you're just like a little kid. You're bouncing your seat. I know where I'm going. I'm gonna do this, and I know my why behind it. And your passion, you could just start feeling it. It's like you can't sleep. You're always thinking, I want to do this. You're sharing it with the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah.
feeling, isn't it?
Yes. I'm I'm a mama. My problem is
Yes.
inherently I'm a mom.
Yes.
That's what I am. I am a mom to my clients. I am a mom to my families. I am a mom to my daughter.
You are one of
I
the
am
best
I am
moms.
a mom to my real estate meeting people. If I can help people grow and move into their freedom, transformation, and abundance, and I can help move out of the way those limiting thoughts and beliefs that stops them
Hmm.
from that is my
Yeah.
greatest joy. Every day of the week, that is my greatest joy. That is the best thing I can do on this planet
Yeah.
is that. And so you're saying tips and tricks, really it's about one's inner work so that the outer world can give you what you're
Mhm.
seeking. Getting that ease of transition between you, your desires, your alignment inside of yourself to create the ease of transition of the world, naturally magnetizing the world to give you what you're
I
looking
love it.
for. That creates wealth. That creates community. It creates the network you need to create the baseline you're looking for in your financial future.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, you were talking about mom. It made me think. I know you were teaching and you're a child care. What led to from that into the world of real estate and real estate investment?
So I worked in childcare, and I have a bachelor's in business. I have an elementary teacher's credential. I have a master's in spiritual
Really?
psychology.
Okay.
So I'm not joking. I really am a mama. I really am. Like, I wanted to be a teacher. But then what I discovered was as I was running the studio, I was renting out a space. It was a small business. I was renting on my own. I was renting out a space. Its rent was like $2,000 a month. I had 90 different teachers teaching in the space,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I also, because I've been investing for so long since I was 17, I also had a property I was selling that had almost $1 million worth of equity in
Really?
it. So I was investing all this time, all this energy. I was a small business management coach, coaching my 90 teachers. I was
90
investing all
teachers? Are
this
you
time and
kidding
energy.
me?
Well, there were 90 over a couple of years. It was 90 teachers over a couple of years. I had to count them all because they came and went, but it was 90 teachers over a couple of years because I had to think about this before I
Uh-huh.
transitioned. And I went, I'm working with all these people. I'm consulting with these people. I'm helping them understand the basics of wealth, but I'm having a hard time making my rent. And I'm like, is there something wrong with
Mm-hmm.
me that I'm having a hard time making my rent? But then I'm like, I'm processing an escrow over here that's got $1 million worth of equity in it, and I'm not scared. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
blinking. I feel like I understand this. I am comfortable in an elegant, I'm comfortable, almost elegant in this area. And I'm like, maybe my problem is I'm doing the
Mm-hmm.
wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this space over here with these 90 different teachers. Maybe I should be focusing much more deeply on real estate and the abundance that creates for myself, for my family, for being able to help people. And it was like, it just made sense. It was the area I was actually more
I
gifted
love
in.
that because, and I'm sure the listeners and viewers are saying, wow, so you're really spending some time with you in understanding or maybe getting clarity of what your next step is by asking those power questions, I call them, right? maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. And it really gets you to thinking. And then before you know it, you're like, yeah, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah.
I think I should do it. And I have learned along my journey and have taught my clients it's good to ask yourself those questions. Don't be afraid of the answers because it may not be the answer you want, but it's the answer you need at that time. Sometimes we're looking over here for the answers and it's right there within. That's basically what you're sharing.
It's using your
Mm-hmm.
failures to help you ask the
Mm-hmm.
questions to be able to say, who am I
Mm-hmm.
really? I have failed in real estate. I've had successes and I've had failures in real estate. And I like to share about the failures because those were the moments where I was able to say, that's
Yeah.
not my lane. This is my lane. I am not a great project manager. I have done multi-million dollar
Mm-hmm.
flips, and I have come to the conclusion, having been successful in some and losing
Mm-hmm.
in some, I actually
Yeah.
don't like it. It's not my
Stay
lane. It's
in your
also not my
lane.
skill set. It's not my natural talent. Stay in my lane. So I had to go, okay, Christina, no matter how big you think you are, no matter how fancy a girl you think you are, doing these $1 million flips, woo, woo,
Who's
woo, woo. Like,
who?
you need to get your ego off of this trail.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't let that one go. Show that picture again, girl. Show that picture again. Go get it. Don't be shy.
Fine,
Who's
here
who?
we
Wall
go.
Street Journal.
Who's
Christina L.
you?
Suter. Oh my God! You send me that when we finish with this interview. I've been trying to work with my
Hold on,
camera, but it says full. I'm
hold
like, no,
on.
it can't be full.
Yeah,
I need a Snapchat. I told a colleague last night. He said, "Our little Christina." I'm like, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah.
That is
Yes.
so awesome.
So being humble, being humble, being humble, being humble. Okay, feedback is I'm not this good at it. Ego can go, but then you can also go, do I want to be
Mm-hmm.
happy and successful by
Mm-hmm.
staying in my lane? Or do I want to fight it and keep forcing myself down a pike that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel good and makes me nervous and upset every
Yeah.
single morning? And being willing to surrender, like you said, ask the golden questions. Is this true of me? Does this add to the planet? Am I truly utilizing my talent? What's that voice in the back of my head telling me? By journaling, like I really think I should be doing X, Y, and Z, and doing like 20 minutes of just pour it all out, pour the whole ego thing out. And then another voice shows up. In case you don't know that quiet voice that guides you, another voice shows up and will start telling
Yeah.
you the truth. And if you can honor that truth, like it
Mm-hmm.
or not, but honor it, then you've got a chance of being able to find what your lane is and being able to find joy and freedom in that
Wow.
lane. Because it's a humbling experience. It's
It's something. Oh
humbling.
my goodness.
It's humbling. But be
Yeah.
willing to do it. Be willing to give it
Okay.
up.
So I want to ask you about,
Yeah, honey.
we were talking about mindset and asking ourselves the right questions. So what are some mindset necessities that will help people in your world, in the real estate? You know, and are they really the
Yeah,
mindset people?
absolutely.
Because I know when I was in real estate, on selling homes and listing homes and stuff, I wasn't thinking about mindset. I was thinking about when is that next deal coming in.
Where's that next check? Where's the next deal? When's the next check? So mindset. So those are those two answers are right next door to each other. So I'm going to
Mhm,
try to answer both. Okay. So first and foremost, I think in any career, in anything you do, your mindset is based on listening to the quiet voice, doing the personal growth work to get the
mhm,
ego out of the way and heal your limiting beliefs. Go to personal growth workshops, go get a master's in spiritual psychology, get a master's in psychology, go to Landmark, go to Forum, go to Insight, go to whatever it is that calls to you and get clarity on that. Okay, that's the
mhm,
inner work so you can hear
mhm,
the voice. The outer work is what's my mission this year? This my mission for myself as my life. Like my mission for my life is inspiring transformation, abundance, and freedom for myself and others. That is my mission, moving me forward for the next decades until the voice inside of me says something different.
mhm,
My vision is who I am in
mhm,
doing that. That I'm using my words, I'm using my communication in order to inspire others to help them grow
mhm,
into that.
mhm.
That's my vision. I can update my vision every year if I want. And then my goals come out of that. Okay, so what does Christina do that inspires other people, that gets communication out there? Well, I do podcasts, I do reels, I have my real estate meetings, I consult with people. All of those, every one of those are lined up behind the concept that I'm helping
There you
others
go.
grow.
You're helping others grow and you're reaching out. I mean, they can hear you on radio, they can hear you on TV, and we
I know.
know people consume information different ways. So the fact that you multicast starts with the podcast and this multicast out, you're reaching people that normally don't listen to a podcast. So here's the thing that I hope anyone else in real estate investment or real estate or listening to this, you see she's putting herself out there. She's not holding back. And once you put yourself out there in 2023, there is so many different ways you can slice that piece of pie. And it can go here, it can go in books, it can go on Instagram, it can go to all these places with you just doing
Yep.
it once. Your voice being heard once, and then it's sliced up in many ways and put out there many, many, many times.
Yes, I've actually been in well, I've been in some
Mm-hmm.
Raven books. I've had my
Mm-hmm.
own book. I've been in other people's book, in another person's book. So I've been in
Mm-hmm.
several books or magazines along the way. But it's just, I want to highlight what you just said, because that's one of the coachings that you
Mm-hmm.
gave me early,
Yeah.
early on. I was like, oh yeah, so I can do a podcast. Now what? Well, you find somebody to edit your podcast and put a summary of it so that I have a
Mm-hmm.
blog post. You break the podcast into pieces so that you have educational curriculum pieces. I actually created a curriculum in small business management, and I have a curriculum in real estate as well, by the way, which I put out as podcasts. And then I use those podcasts to actually pull pieces from, to actually send to a ghostwriter who actually wrote my
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
book, so that I didn't have to do it
There you go.
myself. And you're the one who taught me how to do that in multifold different. And I created a course curriculum out of it, which I actually had on CDs. Tells you how long we've been working together. Then my original course curriculum in small business management was
Oh
on
wow.
CDs, 4 CDs for Christina's 4 primary cornerstones of investing, 4 cornerstones of small business management, right? Like that I all because of you, all because you had that wisdom to say, Christina,
Yeah.
this is how you get it done. This is how you use your strengths to get
Yeah,
it done.
a lot of times we stop our own selves, but when and I applaud you for being open, because a lot of times we're not open to everything. And you would always say, "Well, I'll give it a try." I'll give it a try. And you were really good at taking what felt right, because not everything feels right. And I'm a big believer that you have to trust your gut and you have to go with what feels right to you. If it doesn't feel right to you, you've
Right.
always been really good with your boundaries. And I think that's important in life. And I think that's important in business. You want to talk about that for a moment? And then I want you to share a little bit about your
Yes.
tagline: live a rich life. What does that actually mean?
Yes, that is my tagline. So I do, since my life is about inspiring others, I really do want people to try to find their
Mm-hmm.
space about who
Mm-hmm.
they are. That is a dance. Being able to take care of yourself so you can choose to take care of others. So, really being able, I want to encourage people to think about finding what it is inside of themselves that's their true voice. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about that earlier. What do I need to do in order to follow that true voice? Personal growth work, affirmations in the morning, spending 30 minutes meditating, praying, grounding, reviewing your affirmations so that you stay centered in
Mm-hmm.
your being. But saying yes to everything isn't aligned
Yeah.
with your vision. Fulfilling your vision is what's aligned with your vision. It might mean that things come at you. This is an abundant world. Have you ever noticed how abundant this world is? Like, there is crap all over the place. Good stuff, bad stuff, lots of invitations, lots of people, lots of traffic. There is so much in this world. But for you to stay on your vision, you need to be able to say, no, that's not on
Mm-hmm.
my vision. That takes me away from me having the time, the energy, the presence of mind. And so having boundaries
Yeah.
is a big part of it. And because you know me, I have 2 things, right? My message and my
Yep.
daughter. And my message happens between 9 and 2. And I encourage lots of other people to do the same thing. Your message happens between when and when, right? And then be with your family, be with your daughter, be with your
Very
son, be
important.
with
You've
your wife,
always been huge
be
on
with
that.
your
Yes.
community,
Yes.
right? Because if you don't be with those
What's all
people,
this
then
for? This
you
is what
don't
it's
get to
for.
feel it.
This is what it's
This is what it's
for.
for.
We're
This
not,
is what it's for.
we're
Yeah.
doing it for a better life for ourselves and our family. And if we miss the boat of being with our
Yeah.
family and having that self-care and having those boundaries, if it ever comes a day where all you can do is like my mom did, and I'm sure your mom close to the end did, all they could do is just lay in bed and think about their life past. And if you find
Right.
out, well, you were working more of your life than you were spending it with your family, it's nothing you can do about it then, you know?
No, that's why now. Do the work
Find those
now. For those of us
boundaries
who are
and do the work.
listening, do the work
Hmm.
now. Yeah. So that moving forward, and it's I think it's important that, if I may, like the commitment to do the work, like the sincere commitment, like I'm done with this blah blah blah
Hmm.
stuff in my life. I'm choosing this. I'm moving myself forward now to be this being, to do this, whatever it is that is your purpose. Making that commitment 100%, and then remaking it, and then keeping it, and then remaking it, and reconfirming it in the morning, and deciding it again in the afternoon. And when you get depressed and when you get upset, saying, no, 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 who I am is who I'm going to be is this. Okay, if I'm too tired to be this in this hour, then maybe the next hour I
Yeah.
can be that.
Yeah.
Like, because we're not always up for it. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to
No
bed.
more.
No
That's
more.
it.
Okay, that's it. I'm
Shutdown
done. I'm
time.
going to bed.
But
I
that's self
know.
love and self care right there when that happens, because you're
That's right.
listening
That's
to
self-love
the
and
voice
self-care.
inside you, guide you, that says
There's
time to
yourself.
shut it down.
Time to shut it down.
That's
Put your
right. Because
ass in the
tomorrow
bed,
you
girl.
got a heck of a day. You don't know it, but you got some stuff coming your way. You better get some rest while you can. Absolutely. And speaking of
so,
boundaries,
so
I
yeah.
know,
So
and I'm just curious because you made this decision for the multifamily. So,
yeah,
how did
multifamily
you fit
office.
that into your world? Because I know you do have a busy world,
Well,
and you're out speaking more now than I've ever known you to speak everywhere, you know. So,
yeah,
how did that
yeah,
all fit in
yeah, I am.
for you
I've
in the
been.
decision making process?
Um, it is a trade. So clients will probably come in through the
Hmm.
consulting work, and as I can only take so many consulting clients, right? Anywhere from
Hmm.
5 to 7, I can take that many consulting clients. And as families transition over into the multifamily office, I remove the space for one client, one
Hmm.
consulting client. So once I get 7 families in the
Hmm.
multifamily office, I should be able at that point. I might still have a space or two for consulting, but I will be effectively using the same
Yeah.
hours because I work Monday through Thursday, 9 to 2. Some evenings I do go to meetings, and some evenings I do that as well. But
Yeah.
generally it's 9 to 2 for 4 days a week, because the rest of the time is right. What's my priority is my
Absolutely.
daughter. Right? And you've been there. You've held my hand so many times when it comes
Oh,
to her.
you're
Thank you,
welcome.
Raven.
I love
Thank you for
little,
holding my hand, helping me.
little
Yeah.
my little model.
Yep. You like that?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So I'll be able to roll it in because I'm trading hours for hours. I'm trading consulting work for families. And then I'll work with families longer and more ongoingly. So I only need to meet with them instead of once a week. I'll be able to meet with them once a month or once a
Hmm.
quarter. So you can see how I can
Hmm.
trade time, because time is one of our most precious
Hmm.
commodities, is the time.
Mm. Yeah,
Money's helpful,
it's
but
time.
time is where we get the most meaning out of
Yeah.
this world, is when we have our time applied to things that are
Oh my
meaningful.
God. I love you, girl. I love you so much. I am so proud of you. Thank you for giving me the honor
Thank you,
to
Raven.
interview you all about your Who's Who award, as well as about the multifamily project. That is just amazing.
Yeah,
And thank you for,
yeah,
for all that you do, and not just the real estate investment world, but in just using the power of your voice and just sharing from your heart, your gut, and your soul who you really are. You're very authentic. I love, love, love watching you daily on LinkedIn, because
yeah.
you're just doing your thing. And I'm like, look at her, go, go, go. Oh, sometimes I put in the chat,
Yes,
go,
I
Christina.
just so me in my I'm just so me in my interviews. I'm like in my reels. I'm like, okay, guys, so let me talk to you today. But Raven, I want to thank you because you were there the very first day. You were the first voice that broke through that said, "Hey, Christina, you know that whispering in the back of your brain that says you can do more than this? Guess what? You can, and here's how." You gave me that,
Oh,
Raven. You gave it to me.
well, she's gonna make me cry, y'all.
Good, because I'm
Yes, and
crying.
next year
No.
she will be walking me down the aisle for the wedding. Remember, Kalik and I are gonna get rehooked,
Yeah,
renew
that's right.
our
I'm gonna get
vows on our 10th
re-engaged. I
year
remember I said,
anniversary. Yeah, she was
yeah,
there for the first one, and she'll
yeah,
be there for this. We got to
that's
have a
right.
little Glenna
That's right.
too.
Oh, she's gonna be so excited. Oh my, that's right. That's right. That's right. I haven't told her
Yeah,
because you don't
until
tell
it's
kids
time. Wait
things
till
till it's a
yeah,
little
just in
closer to
case
the event.
anything
That's
change. I mean,
fine.
he ain't going nowhere.
That's
He's
right.
locked in. He ain't
No,
going
he ain't going
nowhere.
anywhere. He's already married to you. In case he missed that, let me remind him. He's
Oh
already
my
married.
goodness.
This is just a 10-year recommit. Just saying.
Dawson said, how did this get back to Raven? I don't know, guys. Anyway, this is
I
about
can get
her,
back to
and
it
she's done
anytime,
so much. Thank you.
anytime, anytime. I know you were trying to shut it down, so I'm going to
Okay,
quiet my mouth and let
that's
you
right.
let
We
you do
got
it.
a virtual a sports car waiting for you to take you over here somewhere, and we got 10 minutes to do it. Listen, this has been great.
Yep.
Everyone, take a moment and just applaud this lady one more time for all that she's done. And remember the messages that she gave to you. Keep going, keep doing it, but set the boundaries and remember, take some time and ask yourself some important questions like Christina did. And ask yourself, or remind yourself and get clarity on why you're doing what you're doing and the importance of staying in your lane, the importance of having boundaries, the importance of speaking the right things to yourself first, okay? And rest up when you can, spend time with your family, spend time with yourself, and do what you're passionate about because you never know who may be looking. Who's who? Yeah! Just saying.
One
Raven
more
and
time.
Talk
I
Show
just like to
Maven.
do one more
That's
time.
Christina Suter. And wow, thank you, Christina. We're so proud of you. You go, girl. That's a wrap, y'all.
Thank you, Raven.
Conversations
So
behind the
appreciate
mic.
it.
Bye bye.